Hey, welcome back to The Better Journey. So, Japan. We had to do this one eventually, right? Because honestly, Japan might be the destination I get asked about more than anything else. And I get it. I completely get it. There's something about Japan that just lives in people's heads rent-free for years before they actually go. Like, you probably have a version of Japan already built in your mind. Maybe it's cherry blossoms and quiet temple streets. Maybe it's Tokyo at night, neon everywhere, ramen shops, vending machines, trains arriving at times. So precise it feels aggressive. Maybe it's anime, Studio Ghibli, Nintendo, arcades, convenience stores, snacks. And yes, the deeply spiritual experience of eating a 7-Eleven egg sandwich at midnight and genuinely feeling like your life has changed. All valid, by the way. Every single one of those is a real Japan that exists and is waiting for you. And here's the thing people don't always hear up front. Japan is not hard to travel. Like, it's not intimidating once you're there, but it's incredibly easy to plan badly. And that's a really specific kind of frustrating because you land in this amazing country and then spend half the trip dealing with problems you could have avoided 3 months ago on your couch. So that's what we're doing today. Not a generic top 10 places in Japan list. We're talking about the stuff people don't think about. The small details that are the difference between coming home and saying, that was the most magical trip of my life, versus, I love Japan, but I think Japan kind of defeated me. Both outcomes exist. Let's aim for the first one. So the first thing I want you to understand, and this is kind of the foundation for everything else, is that Japan rewards preparation more than almost any other destination. Some places you can just freestyle. You land, you wander, you eat whatever looks good, you figure it out as you go, and it works out fine. But Japan can be explored spontaneously too. I'm not saying you need a military level spreadsheet with color-coded time blocks and emotional damage, but you do need a skeleton. You need to know roughly where you're staying, how you're moving between cities, what the big ticket things are that actually need advanced booking, and honestly, more importantly, how much time you actually need. Because here's where I see people go wrong almost immediately. They look at a map of Japan and say, okay, Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Nara, Hiroshima, maybe Hakone, maybe Fuji, maybe Sapporo. And I want to grab them gently by the shoulders and say, friend, you're not collecting prefectures like Pokemon badges. Relax. Tokyo alone can take a week and still look at you like, cute, you saw about 8% of me. Japan is dense. Every city has layers. And the biggest mistake people make is underestimating how much one place gives you when you actually slow down. So before you start building an itinerary, ask yourself a different question. Not, how many places can I fit? Ask, what rhythm do I actually want this trip to have? Do you want culture, food, anime, shopping, nature, peaceful mornings, nightlife, a mix? Because Japan can be so many different trips. The disaster is when you try to make it all of them at once in 10 days. Now let's talk about Tokyo specifically, because it's usually the first stop and people wildly underestimate it. Here's how I describe Tokyo. It's not one city, it's several cities wearing one very efficient jacket. Shinjuku, Shibuya, Ginza, Asakusa, Akihabara, Harajuku, Roppongi, Ikebukuro. These aren't just areas. They genuinely feel like different versions of Japan. Different energy, different purpose, different vibe. And this is why hotel location in Tokyo matters so much more than people realize. People will say, this hotel is only 25 minutes away. And I'll say, 25 minutes away from what? Exactly. Tokyo doesn't have one simple center. A hotel can be technically close to something and practically annoying for everything you actually want to do. You might need a transfer every single day. The station nearby might be enormous, and now your 5-minute walk has become a full pilgrimage with luggage. Think about it this way. If the hotel saves you $200 but costs you 45 minutes every morning and every night, that's not savings, that's a subscription to inconvenience. And Japan's trains are amazing, but you do not want your vacation to become a daily subway escape room. Hotel location is part of the route design. It's not a side detail, it's a strategy. Now the JR pass. We have to talk about it. For years, the advice was automatic. Going to Japan, buy the JR pass. It became like a rule, like buying sunscreen before a beach trip. People just did it. And I understand why, because for a long time it really didn't make sense. But here is the honest truth now. The JR pass is not automatically worth it for every trip anymore, and people are quietly losing money on this one. No villain music, no dramatic moment. They just buy a pass because Reddit told them to in 2017, and they didn't do the math for the actual itinerary. So here's the real question to ask. Not, should I get a JR pass, but what train routes am I actually taking, and do these routes add up to more than the pass costs? If you're doing Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Hiroshima, and back to Tokyo within a short window, yeah, maybe it works. But if you're doing Tokyo to Kyoto, then Osaka, and flying home from Osaka, might not. If you're mostly staying in Tokyo and doing local things, probably not your golden ticket. Sometimes regional passes make more sense. Sometimes single tickets are cheaper and simpler. The point is, you have to calculate it for your specific trip, not just buy the thing because everyone said to buy the thing. Now, next thing, the luggage problem. This one sounds small. I promise you, it's not small. Japan is not built for dragging giant suitcases through every situation. Train stations get crowded. Elevators are sometimes out of the way or just not where you need them. Hotel rooms can be significantly smaller than people, especially Canadians, expect. And if you're moving between Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Hakone, you're going to have travel days. And on those travel days, if you've got a massive suitcase, your beautiful Japan trip can turn into your wrestling luggage to a station while trying not to injure a salaryman. Here's something a lot of people don't know exists. Luggage forwarding. You can literally send your big suitcase ahead to your next hotel. It shows up before you do. Your travel day is now you with a small day bag, breezing through the train station like a person who has their life together. And I know we pack, especially families, especially those of us who treat packing like we're opening a branch office abroad. But Japan will humble your suitcase. Send it ahead. Keep a small bag with you. Your travel days become peaceful instead of a battle. The suitcase always wins. Don't fight the suitcase. IC cards. It's a small detail, but it makes a big difference. Quick one, but worth mentioning. So, IC cards, Suica, Pasmo, these are prepaid transit cards you tap to get on trains, buses, sometimes even pay at convenience stores and vending machines. You don't need to become an IC card scholar, but you do need a plan, especially if you're landing late, taking trains early, traveling as a family, or moving between multiple cities. The last thing you want is to be standing at a ticket machine on day one, jet-lagged, staring at a screen that feels like you're trying to decode a spaceship. A little bit of setup before you go makes every single day smoother. Boring detail, very useful detail. Kyoto. Kyoto needs timing. I love Kyoto, but I also see Kyoto breaks people's expectations more than anywhere else in Japan. Here's the dream version people have. Quiet morning, peaceful temple, soft light, maybe a cup of matcha, a gentle breeze, your soul becoming clean, the whole thing. Here's what happens if you show up at a famous spot at 11:30 a.m. You and 8,000 other people who also scheduled their spiritual awakening for that exact moment. Kyoto is genuinely one of the most beautiful places in Japan, but it needs timing. Early mornings, slower evenings, a mix of famous spots and quieter areas, less chasing the landmark, more actually absorbing the place. And sometimes, this is the thing, the best Kyoto memory isn't I saw 5 temples, it's one quiet street, one small tea shop, one garden, one moment where the city finally slowed down enough for you to actually feel it. That's what a good itinerary should protect, not just movement, atmosphere. Food in Japan is amazing until it isn't. Japan is one of the best food destinations in the world. Ramen, sushi, tempura, street food, department store food halls, tiny 6-seat restaurants that serve a bowl of noodles that rearranges your personality. It's incredible. But if you have dietary needs, vegetarian, vegan, halal, gen, allergies, picky kids, Japan needs planning. Not impossible, but planning. Because a dish might look vegetarian and have fish broth. The sauce might have bonito. Things aren't always obvious unless you know what to ask. And if you're traveling with parents or kids, you cannot just say, we'll figure it out, and hope everyone survives emotionally on convenience store snacks. For certain travelers, we actually built food into the itinerary. Not every meal, that's too much, but enough. Which neighborhoods have options, which hotels have a useful breakfast, which food tours can accommodate dietary needs, which restaurants should be saved in advance. Because food controls mood. A hungry traveler isn't a traveler, that's a small weather system with a passport. Etiquette. Relax, but pay attention. Japan is not strict because it wants to intimidate you. It's structured because public life is built around consideration. And once you understand that, it actually becomes a really beautiful thing to move through. The basics. Keep your voice low on trains. Don't take phone calls on public transit. Line up properly. Be thoughtful with photos in residential or sacred areas. Follow the signs. Be mindful with trash. Don't treat geisha districts or local neighborhoods like they're a theme park. You're allowed to be a tourist. Just be a good tourist. Japan will remind you gently, sometimes through a train sign with a cartoon penguin, that travel is entering someone else's home system. That's actually one of the best lessons travels can teach you. So what does a travel advisor actually do for Japan? Okay, real talk. Can you book Japan yourself? Yes, absolutely. You can open 34 tabs, watch 19 YouTube videos, read 11 Reddit threads from 2017, panic about the JR pass, debate Tokyo hotel areas at midnight, forget airport transfers, overpack the itinerary, and eventually book something at 1 a.m. with one eye twitching. That is a path that exists. But here's what I think people misunderstand about what a travel advisor actually does. We're not just booking flights and hotels. The real value is catching the invisible problems before they become your afternoon. Your hotel location making every day harder? Catch that before departure. The JR pass not actually being worth it for your route. Figure that out in advance. Luggage forwarding? Tell you it exists before you're suffering in a train station. Kyoto needs early morning timing? Build that into the plan. Certain experiences needing advanced booking? Handle it. Your itinerary having zero breathing room? Fix it. By the time you're tired, carrying luggage, confused at a station, hungry in a city where every restaurant has a lineup, the problem is no longer theoretical. It is now your afternoon. Good planning catches those things before they become part of the trip. Not because travelers are incapable, but because Japan is too good of a destination to waste on avoidable friction. So, a simple first-timer framework. For a first Japan trip, we usually like something clean and strong. Something like Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, maybe Nara or Hakone, maybe Hiroshima, if you've gotten the days. That's already a lot. For 10 to 12 days, that can be genuinely beautiful. Tokyo gives you modern Japan, food, shopping, anime, nightlife, neighborhood exploration. Kyoto gives you temples, culture, tea, older Japan. Osaka gives you food, energy, a more relaxed urban feel. Nara gives you history, temples, and deer who act cute but are clearly running a biscuit-based economy. Hakone gives you hot springs, nature, ryokan stays, and Mount Fuji views. If the weather feels generous, which it may not because Fuji has its own agenda, but the exact version depends entirely on you. Anime fan, Tokyo and Osaka need more time. Family first-timers, keep transfer simple. Honeymoon and add ryokan. Slow down, eat well. Budget traveler, fewer city changes. Cherry blossoms, book early and brace yourself. Food travelers, Osaka and Tokyo need breathing room. There's no one perfect Japan trip. There's one better Japan trip for you. So here's what I want you to leave with. Japan shouldn't feel like a checklist. It should feel like a flow. Some of the best travel moments people bring back from Japan aren't the famous attractions. It's the train ride that just worked. The tiny ramen shop near the hotel that nobody planned for. The luggage that magically arrived at the next city. The quiet Kyoto morning before the crowds. The moment they used the train system without panic and thought, oh, I've got this. The convenience store snack that had absolutely no business being that good. That's the better journey. Not seeing more, feeling less friction. Japan will teach you things about travel if you let it. The beauty of systems, the elegance of timing, the joy of small details. But to actually enjoy it, you have to respect the design of the place. Don't overstuff the trip. Don't ignore transport. Don't buy the JR pass because the internet yelled at you. Don't drag massive luggages everywhere. Don't schedule your entire spiritual awakening for the busiest hour in Kyoto. Japan is not a destination to conquer. It is a destination to tune into. And when you tune in properly, when the invisible stuff is handled, the whole thing becomes easier, deeper, and genuinely unforgettable. So that's our Japan episode. We'll have more destination deep dives coming up. Travel better, travel smarter, and remember, in Japan, even the vending machines are prepared. Let's not be the least prepared thing in the country. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.